Scotland is going to implement COVID passports. The justification is to prevent excess deaths from COVID. But there are no excess deaths in Scotland, and I'll prove it. At the same time, it is true that people have died from COVID in Scotland. So, what actually did happen? The numbers published by Scotland's own government, the National Records of Scotland, show that the death rate from 2020 to September 2021 is completely normal. Since you cannot prevent deaths occurring from incurable conditions like dementia and congestive heart conditions, then additional deaths from COVID would have increased the total death count. This idea of excess deaths is the justification for COVID passports. But the count is normal. Incredibly normal. Exactly normal, could not be more normal. But your politicians do not tell you that. The grim conclusion is that deaths from COVID were not excess deaths. Excess deaths by definition have to be additional to the normal death rate of the population. The number of people who died from 2020 to September 2021 match exactly the number expected to die within this period. You can check this yourself by using the weekly deaths to calculate the equivalent rates over the matching periods through time. For each year, add up the total from that year to the September of the following year. This gives you a fair comparison over the COVID period, year on year. To be totally accurate, you have to correct for population growth, but that just makes the numbers worse for the government's case. The data goes back to 1974. Since a low in approximately 2010, deaths in Scotland have been slowly increasing. 2020 to September 2021 is exactly normal. The only conclusion is that there are no excess deaths. The gradual rise in death rate is the demographic effect as the baby boomer generation reaches old age. This is evidenced in the population pyramids, also published by the government. Whatever the cause, the claim that COVID deaths are excess deaths is unfounded at best. And the claim that emergency measures are needed to control the population and keep them safe is proven false by Scotland's own data. Do the math, check the results. Am I right? Use your God-given rationality, protect yourself from being tricked by checking the actual data. It raises the question of why an elected politician would do something so obviously unjustified. Perhaps they do not have a choice? It is up to you to decide. These are trying times. How you act matters, the questions you ask matter, and your opinion matters. Scotland once called itself Scotland the Brave, priding itself on its fierce love of freedom. Freedom takes courage, it takes responsibility, and it takes effort. Wherever you live, you are born free. Freedom is never given to you. It can only be taken away. Be kind to each other. FTS.